Welcome to VintageGamer.com's first video review in 2,337 days. No, I'm not making that up. That's completely true. April 16th, 2017. I remember these things. Today we are taking a look at Zany Golf. This is a game that I played on the Apple IIgs, where this game originated. It was made for the Apple IIgs. We're going to watch the golf ball, then I'm going to tell you more. I like this part. What an intro. But yeah, this game was made by Will Harvey, and we'll talk a little bit more about him in a second. But this Zany Golf game was it's a staple on the Apple IIgs, and I thought the Genesis versions really gotta suck, and I was pleasantly surprised. The sound is not as good as the Apple IIgs. Obviously, that's a problem with a lot of ports to Genesis. But the gameplay is solid. It's almost all there. It's a really, really good port, all things considered. So let's talk for just a second about this. It was it was originally released on the Apple IIgs in 1988. It was ported to the Genesis in came out in December of 1990. And it also showed up on DOS and the Atari ST, Amiga, a couple others. And it's just a really fun mini golf game. Here we are at the windmill hole. I mean, every golf course has to have a windmill hole, right? Well, every mini golf course. If you get the ball up at the top, you get a little bit better angle on the hole. But since I'm a professional, it doesn't matter, because I'm gonna eagle right here. Here I go. Yep. Oh God, I'm good. I know next to nothing about golf. I really enjoy mini golf. And the only reason my gameplay is so good here is because I played this game a lot on the 2GS. This hamburger hole here, so if you had a mouse, you go over and you click on the hamburger. On the Genesis version, you just hit A bunch of times, and you make the hamburger bounce. And wouldn't you know it, the hole is right underneath the hamburger. You gotta hit that thing a lot of times. It'll start bouncing pretty high. It'll get up, and from the angle we're looking at, it'll touch the edge of the board. You want to get it so it's bouncing up towards it almost touches the white edge of the board there. So there's a couple sound effects that are missing from other versions of the game. Normally the burger there would be a bouncing sound effect. The music doesn't sound quite as good, but it does sound good. And that is part of Will Harvey's amazing genius. He originally, and he wasn't, when he wrote this, I don't even think he was 20 yet. He was still a teenager, if you can imagine that. But his claim to fame before Zany Golf was a piece of music software for the Apple II. And he wrote a thing called Music Construction Set for the Apple II. And it was the first commercial sheet music processor for home computers. So this is a guy that knows a thing or two about music, that's for sure. And I mean, he wrote that. I mean, he must have been like 14 or something like that, 16, something like that. Some of my favorite music in the game is this hole right here, Walls. And you're gonna notice me going really slow here. I had the timing down on this perfectly on the Apple IIgs version, but I wasn't sure if the timing was going to be the same here. So as those walls go down, you want to ricochet off that third wall. So you don't want to hit it too soon. But if you hit it too late, you'll miss the third wall and just end up somewhere you don't want to be. And those fairies are cool. If you touch the fairy, you get some extra balls. And this was something I really, really had down back in the day, and I was really unconvinced the timing was exactly the same, because the animation's a little bit different. God, I'm good. But not good enough to get it in the hole or hit the fairy. And I was very close to missing that third wall, but it worked out. So if you hit the fairy, sometimes you get a bunch of strokes, sometimes you just get one. And I just got one, but it was a hell of a shot, as you can see. Look at that, another eagle. He's amazing. This pinball hole is always fun. I've recently got a whole lot more interested in pinball. I always enjoyed it, but played in some tournaments this year and whatnot, and it's been having a lot of fun with that. You want to knock down those two square-shaped things on either side, and then you can go in the main hole and it'll spit you out to the green. Talking a little bit more about this particular port of Zany Golf. Yeah, I was never hot to play it, because I had played the DOS version, and I don't remember. A friend of mine, I think back in the day, had it was either the Amiga or the Atari ST. I don't remember. But oh man, where the 2GS really shines is its sound. I suspect that's probably why Will Harvey was attracted to that machine. He did a couple other games that were for the 2GS and then ported over to other things, including the Immortal, which is also on the Genesis. I do not like the Genesis version of the Immortal, but the music in his games is fantastic. And another one goes down the drink, but those two things are good, so I'm good to try to shoot it in the hole here. I think I accomplished that. Yep. And it spits you out on the green, which is very, very, very cool. So this was actually my very first playthrough on the Genesis. I was pleasantly surprised with how much I remembered and how much translated to this version. These timer bonuses can be stressful. The trick is to just ignore it. And if you get a bonus at the end, cool. But if you get to the hole fast enough, you get extra balls. See the little timer up in the top left. And this fans thing was such an original idea. I mean, what a creative mind this guy has. Now, on this version, you move your thumb in a circular motion on the pad, and that turns the fans, and the fans blow your ball in the direction you want to go. On the computer versions, you move the mouse back and forth to get the fans going, etc. So the fan starts spinning, and then it pushes it down the thing, and that one's going to push it back up the ramp. And if you do it just right, you can get a hole in one, but that's very, very tricky. It's a par 3, and I think that's what I did here, if I remember right. But this is such a great game, even the Genesis version. And I'm not saying that to pick on the Genesis, but as is the nature of a lot of Genesis ports, the sound usually just isn't up to snuff. And usually when you're going from a PC to a console, there's sacrifices, and there are a couple here, but they're minimal, and you really get the essence of the game and the fun of the game, and it looks great. If you get the ball through that gate, which requires really good timing, you get a much better position. But if you're awesome at this game like I am, that doesn't matter. There's another eagle coming up, spoiler alert. Yep. Honestly, this isn't edited or anything, and this was my first playthrough. It's just I had this game that down back in the day until the anthill, my nemesis. You want a hole in one this one, otherwise you're going to be here all day, and you'll see that I very Nearly do, but not quite. Ugh, that's painful to look at. And yeah, the hole was just moving. That's what this one does. You gotta get it up there, and then it moves. This is a very, very frustrating hole. It still manages to be fun. It's a very cool concept, but it can be very, very frustrating. On the computer version where I had a little bit more, I thought I had a little bit more control, trying to land the ball on that top platform, or that top level, excuse me, up there with the hole. If you can get the ball to stop up there, then you can take a very straight shot at the hole without worrying about these bumpers or any of that stuff. The control on a Genesis just isn't quite nuanced for me to get it there. That was kind of the problem with that. But and then the bumpers, they really shoot that ball, but the timing on those is a little finicky too. You gotta time it perfectly. And you don't have any control when it bounces off the bumpers, and it'll shoot right past the hole. I mean, this is. You'll notice I use a lot of my strokes here. There it goes again, and of course it goes down the side without a bumper. And to be clear, I mean, while this is frustrating and aggravating, it's still fun. This is just a fun game, and I think the fun graphics and the great music goes so far towards making that all just work. This whole thing just works. Nope. And right about now, I was thinking, wow, if I'd only gotten it in the hole on that first shot, but it wasn't meant to be. Sorry about that. Of course, people have to text me when I'm recording. And because I haven't done one of these in 2,337 days, or whatever I said earlier, I forget to do things like turn off my phone. But that aside, you guys are going to see a lot more regular reviews here on VintageGamer.com, so I hope you consider subscribing. There's a 24/7 stream of gameplay, and what's up right now, and I'm recording this in September of 23, it's just kind of the beta version of that. The version that comes out in October will have much better gameplay, and talking with a couple people right now just to run a real short ad in between games. Nothing that'll be annoying or offensive to anyone, I don't think. 15, 30 seconds at the most. There it is, finally. And that'll be going 24/7, so if you want some video game goings on in the background, or if you get bored like I do at night sometimes and you just want to watch something and kind of zonk out, that'll be there for you. So this is called Knockout Nightmare. On the 2GS version, it's called Mystery. And on that version, this is actually the very last hole. This is the second to last hole on this version. And the second to last hole on the version I'm more familiar with, it's just called Energy. And it's like this cool Frankenstein's castle, mad scientist lab kind of level. And it does show up after this level in this game, but I am not going to make it that far because I used all those strokes on the anthill. But when you get here, you want to hope that your breakout or Arkanoid skills are up to snuff. Otherwise, you're going to have a very, very, very tricky time with this hole. You see there's two holes at the very top of right up there, on the left and the right, there's two holes up there. If you get the ball in one of those holes before you get all of these little rectangles pushed in, they all come back out. And I totally forgot about that when I was playing this. and I come dangerously close to getting it in. I'm actually remembering that now as I'm doing the voiceover, and that's a bad day. Yeah, normally I would never take a shot like that, but yeah, that's a bad day, and then you got to start all over again. But fortunately, that doesn't happen here. But the second part of this level on the checkerboard is much harder than this, and this isn't easy. And part of it is controls. To be honest, is a little wonky on the Genesis version, but it's not unplayable. It just takes a little finesse. Games like Breakout and Arkanoid never play well with a D-pad. That's where you kind of got to have a trackball or a paddle controller to really enjoy those games, in my opinion. Come on. Close but no cigar, right? But I totally recommend this game. It's not very expensive. I don't see a point to saying the price on these right now, because I mean, if you're watching the 6 inch in the future, it'll probably be different. But right now, it's like a $10 game. But it's not going to be. It's common. It's not hard to find, and it's a lot of fun. And there's a lot of replay here. I mean, there's only, I think, 9 or 10 holes, but there's a lot of replay value. If you're just a console guy, if you're a Genesis fan, this version's a lot of fun. If you're looking for like the definitive version, you're going to want to go with the Apple IIgs version, and you can, if you're lucky enough to have a 2GS, awesome, or you got a virtual desktop or whatever, but emulator. You can try it that way, but if you want to play it on your console, this is, I was just shocked at what a good port this is. It really is. And I am no fan of EA. They published, this was still the 80s. They weren't the horrible company they are now, but that was kind of my shot too. If it didn't happen there, it wasn't going to happen. But yeah, they did a good job porting this. There's other mini golf games out there, but this is still the best in my opinion. And if I'm wrong, please tell me please tell me in the comments what I should be playing. I still, after all these years, I still think this is the best mini golf game on any system. And I don't know what Will Harvey's doing these days. I think he moved on to like business software or something. I think he's in his late 50s, but it would be fun to revisit this. I don't know that he has any interest or desire to do that, but I don't know that this is something you could recreate without him, but it would be cool to see a reboot or a Zany Golf 2 or something like that. I think that would be potentially a lot of fun, but also potentially a disaster, depending who's working on it, of course. Yeah, that anthill and that knockout, that knockout one, not good. And that is going to do it for our first review in like 6.5 years. Again, please be sure to subscribe. We're going to have reviews on a regular basis going forward now that life is at a point where I have time. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.